This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by Dillon White and Alfie Clegg here over Zoom. Lads, I appreciate both of you for giving me some of your time this afternoon. And how is everything?
I'm good, I'm good.
We're all good, man. We're all good. Thank you for taking your time to interview us. Appreciate it very much.
So good, pleasure's all mine. Alfie, we'll start off with yourself. It's a big start to 2025 for yourself. We'll see you feature at the Wembley Arena, Sky Sports on the Adam Azim undercard as Adam Azim challenges for his first world title. You get your first shot on, I guess you could say, on big time television. You have a great slot on that Sky card. Just how delighted are you to have such a big opportunity so early in your career?
Yeah, man, I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon. I appreciate the opportunity very, very much. Like you said, start of the year, straight back out, straight on a big platform. And yeah, I boxed on a card with Isaac Chamberlain before as well. I boxed on my second fight on Channel 5. So yeah, it's the second time with him. But yeah, it's good. It's good to get on a bigger platform, start making people realise the name, getting out there a bit more, and showing the skill set for sure.
Do you feel this is an even bigger opportunity than boxing on Channel 5? While Channel 5 has, I guess you can say, a lot more access for the viewership, Sky Sports is almost a bit of the home for British boxing. Do you feel there's a lot more potential for a lot more eyes to be on you this time round?
Yeah, I believe so. Listen, I've got a lot of fans. We've got this fight 3 weeks notice, and we're already pushing hundreds and hundreds of tickets, so it's good. Got a very good fan base, and like I said, listen, if they give us an 8 week camp, I'd go up numbers. You know what I mean? But we're on 250, 300 tickets going on, so it's going to be a very good show. We've built up. I won my first title with Black Box Global. Dean's managing me, promoting me correctly, pushing me in the right direction, and that's what it's all about. It's all under his guidance, Xavier's guidance, but we're aiming for the best, that's for sure.
How good is it to have that backing from the fan base? 3 weeks turnaround, especially in such a quick turnaround from Christmas, where we know money's always a bit tight for everyone. How
No,
good is it to see such a loyal support from the fans that always turn out for you?
100%, 100%. This first February, we've just had Christmas. We know circumstances are tough; they're getting tougher and tougher each year. I appreciate all my support, all my sponsors, and all my supporters very, very much because they're making me live this dream. To be honest, they're guiding me on the path. They're pushing me. They're the ones promoting me. Obviously, I've built my own gym up, got my own little gym. All the little kids come in their tracksuits running around. All the adults in their tracksuits. Like you won't not be able to spot them. That's for sure. You definitely see them.
Dean, just quickly to turn to you, how delighted are you to get this opportunity for Alfie as well to get him on Sky Sports?
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity. Alfie's what now? 11,
11.
11 and 0. So, we're just progressing him and we want him to, have the right fights at the right time. He's still a young man. I don't think he needs to be rushed, me personally. Obviously, it's a team collective. It's great to be on a good platform, but sometimes when you go on these platforms, you're propelled and moved a little bit faster. But right now, it seems to be good that we're looking to just match him in the correct fashion. Like he said, he's got a great fan base, which allows him to do stuff and pushes himself on. So, I mean, yeah, as a team, we're happy. We've still got, it's a bit short notice, but it's still got a little work to do. We're getting there, hopefully, get 6 rounds under our belts, look good. And obviously, his fans can make noise and they maybe want to have us back, you know what I mean? But he's still a young man learning and understanding the sport boxing. So, yeah.
How important is it that I guess you move him along at the correct pace so you don't keep him at one level for too long, but you don't throw him straight into the deep end? How important is it that you find that right pace?
You know what? It's very important. We only have to look across the pond when you look at America and you see these guys who have had 30, 40 fights, 50 fights under, you know what I mean? So and they go under the radar for so long and then they pop up and you think they're 28 and 0. They've been working, you know what I mean? Over here, it's a little bit different because boxing is thriving over here. And I think it's kind of, you're thrusted under the light a little bit early, some of the guys here. I'm not saying we want to work him to that, obviously, but I'm saying I think it's very important to, work in certain steps. I think, obviously, they've done it with Conor Benn. They've done it with, obviously, this is matching, mind you. I'm just talking just out. What's his name? Campbell Hatton. He was someone they slowly moved along. There's numerous boxers that have been moved on in the right capacity. Sometimes it's not who you fight. It's about, chess and maneuvering your fighter in the right way, moving them along once you know they're in that position to move on and start just moving the chessboard or the needle ever so slowly. But I mean, like I said, he's a young man. He's learning. Obviously, he's only been with Zav, maybe a year?
Yeah.
But,
about a year and a half.
Yeah, about a year, something. So, yeah, again, you know, he's obviously changing the style from what he had when he used to be his previous coach. So all of that comes into play. You know, you see fighters changing and going with different coaches, but to change your style and learn it, it takes a long time to do something like that. You know what I mean? But like right now, like we're in a good place. Like I said, we're looking to go 12-0, put on a great performance, and hopefully, you know, Sky enjoy it, the fans enjoy it, and they'll look to have us back, or any other big platforms would look to have us on there.
Alfie, obviously we've already spoke about having that big fan base, but especially when you're in the smaller divisions where they don't get as much attention from the media and the broadcasters, do you feel having that big fan base and the fan base that's only going to grow, the tougher the fights get, the bigger the fan base will be? Do you feel that's going to be a really, really big part in making sure that you can cement your place on one of these big platforms?
Yeah, for sure, man. Listen, every show we've had, every show that I've boxed on with Dean as well, my fans are cheering from the off go. They're cheering 2 fights before, do you know? I mean, I'm up in the changing rooms before my title fight, and I can hear during other people's fights, they're cheering Alfie Clegg. They're calling me on. So the kids, the adults, they all love it. We've got a good story, got a good background, we're good coming forwards and coming out the depth, coming from bullying, coming from going down the wrong path, smoking and being around the wrong people, to now being back to where I am today. Got a gym with so many supporters, so many adults, kids who have come from either bullying themselves or from alcohol addiction, drug addiction, and we've turned their lives around. We've done a load in the gym, done a load of fundraisers, and we're doing very positive things for the community, which is great. And by doing that, they're also giving back to me. They're coming to support me, cheering my name, making noise, comment on everything, sharing everything, doing everything they can to sort of push me out there to the limelight. And I appreciate it all very much. I wouldn't be able to do it without them. Boxing is a hard sport. Without my sponsors, like I said, without these fans, I wouldn't be able to do this. I'd be working, and it'd be too much to be able to train 2-3 times a day. And like I said, without Dean, without Zav, without my family, it's a lot of hard work. You need the right team, and you need the right people, like Dean said, pushing the right buttons, doing the right things to manage it. And then that's when the supporters come and push you as well. So that's good.
You mentioned turning your life around from going down the wrong path to now being in this position where you are, you know, taking away the fact that you're going to be boxing on Sky Sports in 2 weeks' time, but just getting yourself into a position where you're a professional athlete. How much mental resilience and mental strength does it take for you to turn your life around and to get yourself into this position where you are now?
Listen, we're human. I think you can get easily influenced, easily distracted. I'm diagnosed autistic. I like to please people. I'm a yes man. I don't like to say no. Do you know what I mean? I like to always try and be there for everyone, or do everything I can, or sort of just say yes. And sometimes it leads you down the wrong path. And to come back from where I was, it's been 3 stages of my life. And like right now, it's like everything in God's hands. It's all God's timing, and that's what I've laid it down to. God brought me back here. This is what He wants me to do. So yeah, like I said, we're on the right path to greatness for sure.
And how amazing is it for you to have your own gym at this stage as well, and to be bringing so many people down, and obviously using your experience of changing your life to help a big community change theirs as well, for the people that need the help. They can find it through you, can't they?
100%, 100%. Like my gym is literally in the home and heart of where I grew up. So being able to, like, to be honest, I've got some of the kids they run around straight after school. They just pop in and say hello. Do you know what I mean? Like we've got a very, very friendly family community. They just pop in. They can come say hello when they want. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone talks. They train together. Adults, kids. They're all together. They're all working hard. It's a really, really good community.
And Dean, for yourself, seeing Alfie already have this gym opened, you know, it's very rare that we see fighters at this stage of their career already have other avenues opened as well. How amazing is that to see?
He said, man, he's like a people person. Obviously, he's from Guildford way, nice small town, small knit community. Obviously, got behind him, and that's important. You know, you do have that, but yeah, like you said, it is rare for someone that's so young as well to have it all already. Sometimes that's later in their career. But I think this has been good for him, because sometimes you need certain things to get you cool down and get you focused. And I think the gym's probably, you know, boxing came, then it kind of thought, let me get my gym going. It's probably allowed him to mature quicker and develop in his boxing career, especially in business sense, just dealing with people and then building that community as a family hub he's got in. So I mean, it's crazy. And then like sure when they're at Tower, those guys, man, they light the place up. So yeah, it's very nice. It's humbling still because you know want to give back something to the community and stuff. But you know, look, I know life's hard as it is for everyone, but I mean, it's important to give back and try and do the best you can and be a good human as best as you can. You know what I mean? So it's nice someone so young's doing that and started from early. And he's just a humble kid. Like you said, he does try and aim to please. And we've got to stop him saying yes so much and get himself in trouble. But yeah, it's all good.
Just looking back now, I want both of you quickly just to reflect on the 2024 that you both had. Obviously, Alfie as a fighter and then Dean as a promoter, manager, just someone involved in boxing. So we'll start with Alfie. How do you reflect on your 2020-24?
Crazy, man. Listen, we started off the year with winning a fight at the end of 2023, obviously for the IBF Youth World title, and it got delayed with me with like fracturing my ankle, and then we worked through it. We worked through it in a space boot, and then got to December, we was going to fight, and then he pulled out due to injury. So the fight actually ended up getting made in February, almost coming up a year now, February 2024. I think it was 16th, wasn't it? 16th. So we're coming up to a year away, but that was the dream. Listen, we won my first title. And that was all through Dean pushing it and getting it onto that platform that there's not a lot of titles that get put on small ball shows, especially at IBO Youth World title, to be pushed. To do the numbers that we did, I sold maybe 500 tickets, 500 tickets and pushed it up. It shut down that night, wasn't it? It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. On a great show. The show looked like a massive hall show, like I said before. And we're doing it out of Tolworth. It was a great experience, and that's the highlight for my year. That title, that's set us off now. So, like you said, like now all these good things are coming together, and it's been great. It's been a great year for me for sure.
And then Dean, how do you reflect on your 2024 as a manager, promoter?
Yeah, do you know what? Boxing's a hard sport. You know, you have ups and downs. Obviously, like you said, he had the injuries, and then obviously trying to match fighters. You know, getting fighters approved by the board is becoming ever so harder, and obviously in the division he's in is pretty difficult as well, matching at the weight. But like you said, the highlight is definitely nurturing someone from the beginning of their career to getting a title, IBO youth title so early, especially on the platform I built from scratch as well, was definitely a highlight. For us as a collective Black Box Global, was Alfie Clegg team and family, and I just think for me, I just want to continue to build and grow. But in boxing, that's definitely going to be a highlight. And then obviously just continue to have great shows. We had some really good shows. July, and what else was it? October the 19th was a good show. Then we've got another one coming up February the 22nd. That's just watching the progression of Alfie. Like I said, he's easy to work with. He doesn't really say no too much. But to be honest, I always try and figure out the best way to pick fights for him and work out if. And then just trying to encourage and believe in him. Obviously, if we believe in you, you should kind of believe in yourself. Because sometimes fighters do question themselves. And, we got to be, sometimes they want to either go too far, so you got to pull them back, or maybe, it's just, but that's why you have a team. It's called Team Collective, and you all do it together. Whether you win together or you lose together, it's all the same. But right now, we're on a journey, and I believe he can grow and build into something, like I said, he's still young. A lot of them fighters are, probably a little bit older than him. Some of the other kids, and I think they're, maybe a little bit more experienced amateur-wise. So we're not rushing Alfie, because some of these guys have 50 fights, 30 fights, and then they've still had similar. So there's experience. We need to bridge that gap. So, for me, anything to do with what I'm doing with my fighters and bringing them on is always, humbling and a good experience, because it can't be matched. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's a platform I built from scratch. So yeah.
Alfie, just another quick one on yourself. Obviously, we've mentioned you being in one of the smaller divisions where they don't get as much attention, but I guess you could say in the last year or so, we've seen that the super flyweights get a lot more attention. We've seen some big fights headline both in the UK and America. How good is that to see your weight divisions get this attention, especially with you coming into a part of your career where you're going to be starting to push for titles now? How good is that to see?
Yeah, it's unreal. Like you said, it should have been highlighted from way before. Some of you go look back, some of these smaller guys, the talent on them, the skill set they've got, it's no difference. Obviously, you get more knockouts in heavyweights, and that's what people like. But it's the art of boxing, man. It's skill in it, and that's the main thing. I think, like me, I'm a bit of a dancer. I've been changing my style to brawl now as well. So it's mixing it up and having the skill sets to display, giving the fans what they want to see, and yeah, just to enjoy the process. I think we should definitely get more attention. But it's like you said, it's good that we're starting to get it, starting to get on these bigger platforms and these bigger fights getting made, and getting made as main events, which is great. So nice. It's going to be a very good couple of years for sure.
Who's a fighter within the flyweights, the super flyweights that you've always looked up to and kind of, I guess you could say, idolized in a way?
I think Sonny, man. Sonny's funny. He's always been out there. He's brazen. He says what he wants to say. We've got similar styles. I'd love to get down and have sparred him. And like I said, we've got the similar styles, like dancing, showboating, and all that side of it, which is great. I think I uploaded one clip after my debut when I was doing all the hands down and sitting on the ropes and all this flipping, and load of people had sent it to him and tagged him into it, and he actually messaged me. So yeah, it was good, and it's just enjoying the process. But yeah, I've always looked up to him, enjoying his style, and now it's just bringing other bits, like Dean said, into the style, sitting down a bit more, being a bit more aggressive, picking the right shots at the right time, and sort of holding your feet a little bit more rather than me just dancing all the time. But it's going to be good. Like I said, it's going to be a very good year. I'm looking forward to the journey.
Dean, how far do you believe Alfie can go in the sport? Sorry, hello, did I cut out there?
Well, obviously, with us moving him in the correct fashion, he should be able to go all. But I don't see why not. He can't go up there and win one of these titles that are out there. You know, there's many titles available, version of a world title. Obviously, the top boys are elite, and it is hard, and there's a big gap to bridge from there. But you should always set your stall pretty high anyway. Do you know what I mean? But we're not going to rush him. We're going to move him along in the right fashion. You know, for me, I want him to maybe start trying to get some more experience sparring as well with some of those other seasoned guys or guys who are just a little bit in front of him, so he can understand what it's like to share the ring with those guys. We'll kind of see, but like I said, one the building block, and God willing, we'll make our way where we need to be.
Sure.
Dean, just a couple quick ones to yourself. Just a couple quick ones to yourself. Obviously, we've seen a lot of news unfold this week in the aftermath of the Ring Magazine Awards. I guess the story of the week has been Eubank Ben is finally on again. As a boxing fan, I guess yourself, Alfie, as well, how delighted are you to see this fight over the line for the British boxing fans?
Yeah, it's been a long, tedious process, I guess. For that fight, it was on and then it was off, and now it's finally back on. I think it's a great grudge match. It's a great story. It's good. The history of the fight, the dad's fought, now the sons of boxing. Is quite mad that we've come full circle, that these guys have become grown men and are managing to fight each other and get paid millions to do so. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it. I definitely want to see the fight. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll watch it somewhere. I don't know. It depends how I feel or what happens in the time. I heard it's meant to be in the Tottenham football ground. We'll see. But I mean, as a boxing fan, yeah, it's going to be a great fight. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Alfie, what do you make of the announcement of Eubank Ben this week?
Yeah, it's good, man. It's boxing, it's money. That's what it comes down to. It's going to be a massive fight. A lot of money involved, but I'm looking forward to it, man. It's like Dean said, it's been a big full round circle. My dad used to love watching Nigel Benn. Yeah, he used to love Nigel Benn, and I remember hearing him talk about how he hated Chris Eubank, but that's just one of those things, you know what I mean? But I like them both. And listen, it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great fight. I look forward to seeing it. It's going to be a very good story for sure. It's going to be a very good story.
And just my last one. Obviously, we've also seen that Tyson Fury has hung up the gloves and he will be stepping back from professional boxing. While we have seen this before, Dean, I'll come to yourself first. Do you feel this could be one where this could really be it now for him, especially now that he doesn't hold the world titles and it's going to be a longer path back to get world titles? Do you feel we have seen the final instalment of Tyson Fury's career?
You know what, with Tyson Fury, you're never sure what's going on. Sometimes he just says stuff for saying stuff. I don't know. Maybe he just wants a bit of breather from the paparazzi media and talking about fights and whatnot. Just wants to spend a bit of time with his family. But there's big money out there waiting for him. I know he's made a lot of big money. There's a lot of money that this fights are gonna, potentially make another 100 million plus. So I don't know why you'd want to retire when all that money's on the table. But hey, look, he's been boxing a long, long time. He's a long career. I remember I was in Germany. Actually, we was in the Klitschko camp that time. Actually, when he fought Klitschko, and defeated him, made history. So I mean, that was a long time ago. What was that? That was actually 10 years ago, 2015, actually. So he's been boxing a long time, and that's just that part of it. So he's been from McDermott days. So I don't know if that was going back even further. So I mean, he's had a long, great career. No one could begrudge him if he does. But as a boxing fan, I'd like to see him in there. I'd like to see the fight with AJ. I'd like to see, who was arguably the best of the UK era from the UK. But both guys are probably a little bit past their best. But still, nevertheless, as a boxing fan, you still, want to know what the outcome potentially would be. So it'd be a shame if he does. It's like I said, but wish him good retirement if that's what he's doing. Let's party, man. Spend that money you got.
If we do see Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury this year, how do you see it going?
Well, I'd like to. Depends what Anthony Joshua turns up. He's coming off a knockout loss, a sensational knockout loss against Daniel Dubois. But I really like Anthony Joshua. I mean, big old Daniel, underestimated him on multiple occasions. He proved me wrong. I didn't envision that fight ending that way. But he proved us wrong. Credit to Daniel. I mean, AJ's cool. We get on. Speak to him. I probably speak to him more than obviously Fury. But Fury, very respectful, polite. Every time I see him, manageable. I had a few drinks with him, but obviously I'm more probably an AJ fan, so I'd probably be leaning to AJ. But I mean, it'll be a tall order, to be honest. I'm not going to pretend. If you watch the fights against Fury and Usyk, out of them fights, I probably had Fury winning at least one of them. And then with the Joshua fights, I don't know, I didn't see Joshua winning any of those. So I don't know. Stars make fights, so it's definitely up in the air. But I'd be rooting for AJ.
Dean, just one more that's popped into my head. I know I've said last one about 3 times now, but this will be the last one. We saw Dillon White return.
Over, son. I've had enough of you. No more questions. Get out of it. Go on, do it.
So, Dean, obviously, we saw Dillon White back in the ring in Gibraltar at the back end of December against Ebenezer Tete, and what was a much tougher fight than probably what a lot of people expected for Dillian. But regardless, he got the result. How does 2025 look for Dillon White now?
Dillion's working. Dillion's in the gym. Obviously, he's got to continue his pursuit back to the rise of big-time boxing. All these guys in front of him have been active and fighting time after time, big fight after big fight. So for me, I just think Dillon needs to have more ring time and be active. Like I said previously, I think, Tete, I just assumed Tete was a walk in the park. When I first heard the name, I just had him as the guy that Daniel Dubois knocked out in a round or whatever it was. But then when I seen him in the weigh-in, he was like double the size he was previously. And I was like, shit, he's a big old bruiser, isn't he? And then Dillian was explaining he's actually gone on a great run and had numerous knockouts since then. And he showed it in that. He showed the experience. He showed, why he had that record. I think, was it only 1 or 2 losses and multiple knockouts? I mean, the rounds are great for Dillian, but obviously it doesn't show us where Dillian's at. I think more than anything, those rounds are probably very valuable to Dillian, and he just he's gone back to the drawing board, continue to graft. I think there's fights, like I was saying earlier about Alfie, taking the right fights, his team taking the right fights at the right time. Dillian needs to work back to him being at his peak. There's steps. You don't want to miss those steps because he's been out a long time. And like I said, all the guys that was below you have now surpassed you and gone on and be doing great things and all that Riyadh season and making good money fighting on these huge cards. But Dillian is a big time fighter anyway, so he rises to the occasion, but he needs to get in shape and he needs to become active. So I think there's some good fights out there for him. If he can get another 2 solid fights, Styles makes fights. I'm not sure who I did. I think a fight for me is not Joseph Parker. What's his name? What's the other guy's name? Shit, the big guy. He's fighting now. What's his name? How can I forget his name?
Joyce.
The one is Joe Joyce. My bloody punch drunk. Sorry, guys. But Joe Joyce, I think that's a great fight for Dillian. So obviously Derek's beat him. He's making his way back now. But I mean, Styles makes fights. I think Dillian wouldn't have to go looking for Joe Joyce. He'd be right there to be hit. So I think for Dillian, that'd be a great fight coming back. And it's obviously a British dust up. People know the fight. I think Dillian still needs to have another fight in between. But I mean, I think that's a fight after whatever fight he does now. I mean, it slowly progresses back and starts to move the table and see. Because if he has 2 more fights and there's an opportunity to fight Daniel Dubois for that title, I think that's a decent fight there as well. Daniel Dubois is a very, very competent fighter and on charge. His jab's amazing. It's like a right-hand rudder. We saw what he did to Adrian, but I think it's a good fight. I think with both fighters, Dillian brings different stuff and pressure. Certain fighters, I think, is better for Dillian. You've got to be matched. Or your team should try to match you, so it brings out the best in you, and it doesn't make things awkward. Because Styles makes fights, and some fighters are going to be awkward, and they don't gel, and then it becomes a horrible fight. So it's all about matchmaking and matching the right fights. But I feel like with Dillian with a good few fights, it could come. I'm not sure if Daniel likes body shots. I know Joe Joyce doesn't necessarily like body shots. I'm not sure anyone really does like body shots, but I mean, the body snatcher is his name. It's all in the name. So I think those are good fights for him. But I mean, to try and fight for another world title, that's always where any boxer wants to be anyway. So Dillian's got to make his way back slowly. Obviously, Joseph Parker's there, very dangerous guy. He's fighting. He keeps saying he wants to rematch Dillian. But for me, he's had probably 5 or 6 fights right now. And he's been on the swung song, defeating Zhang, defeating... what's his name? The Bronze Bomber.
Yeah. And
now that's a really good fight, them 2 fights. I mean, there's fights for Dillian, but Dillian needs to get back that momentum. That's the word I've been looking for. I say momentum is key for any boxer, but for Dillian, as a big guy, and as you're getting on, you're pushing on, momentum is key. So Dillian needs to be, looked after and weighted correctly. But yeah, we'll see Dillian back hopefully in the next few months. And God willing, it'll be some good fights, and slowly he can continue that journey back to the top of boxing, where the rest of the boys are cleaning up and getting his money and getting some success.
Absolutely. Well, to end it off, we started off by talking about Alfie Clegg on the Sky Sports card at the beginning of February. So we're going to finish that. Alfie, when you get in that ring on February 1st, live on Sky Sports, what can fans in the arena and watching on Sky on the YouTube show, what can they expect from you?
Listen, it's going to be. It's always a bit of skill. It's always a bit of dancing, but we're going to look for a strong impact. Sit down on my shots a little bit, bit more skills on the inside. But listen, I always got to go back to my dancing, man. Have a performance. So it's all a bit of fun and games in it. We've got to display the skill set.
Well, Alfie, Dean, I appreciate both of you for giving me some of your time this afternoon, and we look forward to February 1st when we see Alfie Clegg on Sky Sports. Cheers.
Cheers.